Mornings in our farmhouse are busy. From milking 2 cows currently to homeschooling 4 kids, 3 toddlers running around. There are a lot of moving parts, and breakfast needs to not be one of the things that derails that train once it gets going in the morning. So today I'm gonna share with you 4 make-ahead breakfast ideas, things that you can make in advance and then either warm up or just eat the very morning, so that way you can get ahead of your morning schedule so that it's not so crazy. All right, first of all, I have to give the disclaimer. Yes, I have a cold and my voice is kind of on the way out, but I still wanted to get this video out for you. So we're just gonna go with it. Trying to decide what I'm gonna call this first thing here. The name is a bit of a mouthful. So einkorn, buttermilk, sourdough, pumpkin spice, chocolate chip, 9x13 baked pancake. This recipe is a result of me having a whole lot of buttermilk because I made a bunch of butter recently from our fresh cream. The night before I wanted this, I mixed a bunch of einkorn flour, a little tiny bit of sourdough starter, and buttermilk in a bowl. Now, essentially what I'm doing here is making a sourdough starter with buttermilk, but I didn't really want to feed my main starter that, so I just removed a small portion. I let that ferment overnight, and then I added pumpkin, eggs, sugar, oil, pumpkin spice, salt, and baking soda. I just went off of my usual sourdough pancake recipe, which calls for 2 cups of starter. I estimated because it looked like about that much, and so I kind of went off of those measurements, but I found with pancakes, they really work out, even if you don't get the measurements exactly perfect. Notice how bubbly and foamy and light this turns out. I added it to a dish, sprinkled it with some chocolate chips, and then baked it in my oven. Now, the way that this is make ahead is you can make it, put it in the refrigerator, and then warm it back up the next day. We actually ended up doing that. We had some right then, but then we also ate some the next day. So this is a great thing if you're making it, make it double, put one in the fridge, and then you'll have one for the next day. The next thing on my list is my rendition of muesli, which there's a lot of different ways that people make this. I started making this about 12 or 13 years ago. I actually had a blog years ago that I no longer write on. And so I took this recipe from there. I did 6 figs, 6 dates, about 1/2 cup each of almonds and walnuts, and then pulsed that in my food processor. added that and a cup of oats to my bowl, along with a cup of yogurt and a cup of milk. What is so cool about this is you can reduce the phytic acid by soaking oats. So you can leave this out overnight to gain those benefits or put it in the fridge. I also added in a quarter cup of raisins and 3 tablespoons of maple syrup or honey, and then gave it a stir. Now you'll want to double or triple this. I wrote this recipe when we only had 3 kids, but obviously now I need to like 3x it. Add it to jars and either leave it out overnight and then put it in the fridge or put it straight in the fridge. It's a great grab and go breakfast. My husband thinks it's basically the best thing ever, and he's been asking me for years when I'd make it again, and I kind of forgot how to make it, but I visited my old blog and found it. And so maybe I'll bring it into like a nice new version here on my Firm Assembly blog. The next thing on the list is granola yogurt parfaits. The thing about making granola is it can sound overwhelming when you think about when you're busy following a recipe. Now, of course, this is make ahead, so this is something you're gonna do the day before. But the way that I like to make granola is basically add a bunch of oil and honey, don't measure, to a pot, add cinnamon, and then just enough oats and coconut until it looks like the right consistency. I always tell my girls when they wanna make granola, the basic formula for making granola is you're toasting and sweetening cereal ingredients. So whether your cereal ingredients are oats, nuts, coconut, whatever it may be, and your sweetener is maple syrup, honey, sugar, and then your fat is butter or oil. Either way, you are just toasting and sweetening cereal ingredients. So however you can make that happen quickly is what you want to do. So that's why I'm trying to do this fast. I'm not using nuts. I'm not using my food processor. I'm just using things that are already small, the coconut and the oats. And then I just add some raisins. I have homemade yogurt that I just sweeten with some maple syrup, add some frozen fruit in my granola, and it's a very quick breakfast. As long as you have a lot of granola and yogurt on hand, you can assemble and pass out to your kids. The next thing on the list is breakfast burritos. I've learned that it is totally fine to make these ahead of time. Essentially, I just scramble up some eggs, add some cheese, stack them in a 9x13 dish or whatever size you want to make, cover it with foil, add it to the fridge, and then bake it the next day. It'll melt the cheese and it'll be nice and warm and delicious. Top with salsa and sour cream and enjoy. All right, well, I hope that you can start using some of these recipes in your own kitchen with your own family so that your mornings are a little bit more streamlined, not so crazy. Everybody can get something to eat without all of the guesswork and getting everything out. You can hopefully be onto a smooth morning. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new, please hit that subscribe button. I make new videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home.